Hey, back in, y'all, back in. Get in here, get in here. Hey, King, can you turn on 20? 20? 20? Yep. You're not going to announce right now? No, I'm going to talk about the extra hour or two. So. Testing, testing. Ask me anything. Ask me anything. I can do the basketball lineup. Yeah. Starting for your Denver Christian, Lady Thunder. Number 10, T-Rain. Hello, Denver Christian freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, or future sophomores, juniors, and seniors. Quick Stuco election update. So here's the thing. I made that announcement to say go vote, and then I shared it with everybody, and I didn't hit publish. So I'm going to give you an extra couple of hours, and we'll have results tomorrow morning. So make sure you get on a computer and you vote. I did publish the sophomores, so I got about half the sophomore votes. But freshmen and juniors, I didn't hit publish, so I only have like 8 votes total. And I changed the headings. I also just copied, so I had the sophomore heading and I changed them. So that's all I got. Mrs. Bartz is going to talk to you. Do you need me to kill time? Yeah. Oh, ask me anything. Go. Yeah. Hey, let's all go in the middle. Everybody in the middle. All right. All right. Everyone in the middle. File in. Take those old senior seats. Okay. Find somebody you don't usually talk to. Say hello. Ask them their name. Ask them their favorite car.
Where does Darth Vader get his sneakers?
Where does Darth Vader get his sneakers?
The Darth Maul.
I don't get Star Trek jokes. Yeah. Is it too late to sign up for Stuco elections? I could add your name, okay, but nobody's gonna vote for you. I don't mean it that way. You could send me an email and get you on the ballot as quick as I can, but, whoa. All right, here you go.
All right. Take a look around. Do you see most of your friends and your people now that we shifted you? Interesting. Hey, here's the deal. If, for whatever reason, you look around and you feel like we lost some people, you may not tell them anything we talk about, and you're just going to say the words, should have been at enrichment. Deal? Okay. All right. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about what's coming down next year. So we're super excited to end this year, but we also Yeah, I mean, yes, amen to that. But, and we are looking ahead to next year as well. So, a couple of things. First and foremost, I'm going to pretend that I know some things about APs, but I don't. Luckily, there's slides that we all will look at and enjoy. First up, it says AP and dual credit. I'm pointing this way. I'm well aware. There we go. Okay, first up is talking about if you would like to be an AP language and composition. If you are curious about it, this is the part where you guys are going to listen for a little bit, okay? Without the peanut gallery. This is a class if you want to explore ideas further, want to discuss and debate, want to experience more college-level writing, want to earn college freshman English credit. This is a good class if you're somebody who can organize and manage your time and balance out commitments, okay? And that is probably a statement across the board for AP and dual credit classes, is that your ability to organize your time and balance is really instrumental, okay? If you are curious about this class, you can go see Mrs. Coleman to get your summer reading material, which is Seabiscuit. How many of you have read Seabiscuit? Yes. How many of you have watched the movie? Solid. Go read the book, okay? Guys, they're having a summer picnic too, so I highly recommend, okay? Next up, Next up is AP Environmental Science. Your summer assignment there, if you are in that, and there's still more room if you would like to join. You're going to talk to Mrs. Mulder if you're interested. Your summer assignment is to visit a national or a state park, take some pictures, and make observations, and be ready to share when the class starts in August. How many of you are already planning to go to a national or a state park this summer? Oh my gosh, it's like you already have the assignment ready to go. That's amazing, okay? AP Environmental Science. AP Statistics. You have a homework packet, which is not going to a state park. It would feel a little weird if your homework assignment for stats was to go to a state park. But you gotta do some numbers. Baker, I'm curious, were you the kind of person that did a summer packet for math in high school? Okay, great. That's solid. Solid. All right, next up, AP Gov, okay? This is a full year with the thought that you are taking regular government first semester. You will take the AP exam, and you will be a required class exam at the end of the year with no senior exemption. So sometimes our seniors like to pretend they're surprised when we're like, yes, in an AP or dual credit class, you still have an exam. So ta-da, look at that, okay? Space could be limited with a possible application or entrance test. I believe, is that based on how many kids sign up for it, that then you have to decide if you do a test or entrance for that, okay? You do have to buy your own book. Turns out it's the one on the right, and it's about $30, but I'm guessing Timmer may be under budgeted, so maybe it's like $35, I don't know. Oh, tax, shipping, I don't know, okay? So that is AP Gov there. Now, one thing to note, and I'm gonna have people tell me if I say this wrong. If you are one of our students who utilizes our Extend services, the College Board determines which of your accommodations apply for AP and dual credit classes, okay? Not dual credit. Denoy, would you like to come down and say this in a better way that makes sense than what I'm going to say?
Yeah, so I don't want there to be any surprises. So if you receive accommodations here at DC, it's a great idea to talk to Mrs. Kraus before, not to say you can't take these classes, but the way accommodations work for the AP exam, that's governed by College Board, so we have to have approval for accommodations through College Board for AP classes. For dual credit, since the colleges we partner with are the ones granting that college credit, they're in charge of what accommodations can be given, right? Because we follow a syllabus that's approved by them. So just keep that in mind. Again, it's not that you are not eligible to take those classes. I just need you to know that before. Talk to Mrs. Kraus. She can walk you through that, okay? While I'm up here, the other shameless plug, please take classes that you're interested, that you know would be good for you. Sometimes we're like, oh, I only want to take this class if I've taken this teacher before, if my friends are taking it. You're old enough to start making decisions for yourselves as far as your education and what's going to set you up for success in the future. So say yes to the class because it's what you should do.
No peer pressure. Hey, who do you email if you have questions about your schedule over the summer? The fact that some of you said Timmer is concerning. No. You email. Do you email Denoy? No. Who do you email? Registrar at Denver Christian. It's in probably an email. All right. Now, we're going to start talking a little bit about some fun shenanigans already for Discovery Week. So, you ready for this? I really want to just make you guys sit and wait for a while, but I won't. All right. First off, as we have said in the past, when we try and introduce this, there is a fine print. When we introduce this, okay, this is tentative and subject to change. What we try and do is obviously be accurate for next year, but when we say, hey, here's what it's looking like for 3 years out, obviously things can move and wiggle around a little bit. You'll see that some of that happen, some. But know that this is based on some numbers, based on even like the quotes we get from the companies we partner with. Usually those are for like a month-long window to lock them in, and we can't do that, right, until August. So there is potential that sometimes these things will change a little bit, okay? Now, obviously, we're still with the mindset. First off, Scotia, where are you? Scotia, my goodness, I'm so impressed. I just need to call that out because that was awesome, the chapel you just led. And I love what Scotia said at the very beginning. She's talked about pursuing God, right? And just being in pursuit of that. And it made me feel like, man, that's just an awesome way to think through like things like a Discovery Week, right? Not only how are we discovering, but how are we pursuing and how are we stepping in, okay? So this is a reminder of what we're trying to do during this week and this time. For some of you, it's hanging out with not your friends, right? Purposely signing up with different things, maybe going to a different place that you're like, I don't know, I just feel like there's a reason I need to go there, okay? Some of you are gonna dive deep into like, what could your future career look like, okay? So, final thing now. We have, behind the scenes, there is a Discovery Week committee. What we try to do in the background is try and make sure that all of our trips fall in one of these lanes: cultural immersion and education, adventure, service, or career and future. That has been behind the scenes for us, but now we are making that more in front. What this means is that each year going forward, so seniors, you're gonna be grandfathered in. We have to figure this out just a little bit, but we are gonna say, hey, over your 4 years, you will do a Discovery Week that's more cultural immersion and education. You will do one that's more adventure. You will do one that's more service, and you will do one that's more career and future. That applies for trips and for on campus. That is gonna be the lens that we start to line these all up. You haven't probably realized that in the background, but what this means is that for some of you that all have already done your independent study for college stuff, great. You're gonna go figure out where you're gonna serve or what you're gonna learn or a different adventure, right? We also recognize that a lot of times, especially for trips, they can play in multiple lanes, okay? So there's gonna be some like bobbing and weaving that we will navigate with each of you, but our goal is to track that, right? And so I can tell you and show you in just a minute what the trips were this past year, right? What we would catalog those roughly as, and then what it looks like for next year. So what I want you to ask yourself is like, what have I already done, okay? What have I already been on? Have I been on an adventure trip? Did I go on kind of a service one? And what can I look towards to do differently? Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. So what I ask is that you are intentional with this, but also thinking through a little. What have you done? Okay? With this. All right. Drum roll, please. Your domestic trips. I actually forgot what they are. This is going to be fun. First up, California with our Santa Barbara Surf and Serve. It's coming back, okay? How many of you have been on this trip? Mainly juniors. How many of you went on this trip 2 years ago? Some of you? No. Or was that seniors maybe that were our last time, okay? Oh, look there's a little Sawyer and Cole on the far right. Oh, and Robert. There's Robert. Oh my goodness. This is amazing, okay? So this is a trip that heads to Santa Barbara with Simply Venture. They do different service projects and then also learn some surfing and do some water stuff there, okay? So you'll notice I put this with a reddish background because actually no, I would like to say that this is kind of like a dark orange, orangish red maybe, because this is more on the line of adventure and service. So it lives in both those lanes, okay? So under the warm California sun, unless it was the last time we went and they were in pouring rain. Anyways, they experienced all the Mother Nature had to offer, surfing, paddleboarding, hiking, and tide pooling, then give back together, serve and connect with the large homeless population of Santa Barbara through volunteering with local nonprofits. In addition to team building and cultivating hearts of service, this volunteerism works to break down stereotypes of the homeless population. Reside, not just like live, reside at Santa Barbara Christian Camp in the majestic coastal mountains, gathering nightly for dialogue and community building. Santa Barbara, ladies and gentlemen. Next up, you want to guess? I've heard it. All right, next up, marine science in South Florida, okay? Mangroves, Everglades, and dolphins, okay? They're all scientific discoveries awaiting you and your group for this marine science in South Florida. This is one, if you are interested, notice that this color is kind of like a greenish, a little bit of blue, maybe a little more green, but just with a tint of blue in this, because this is more educational of like if you are curious about the sciences. But also maybe if you're like, I don't know, could I do this as a career? Maybe that would, for you, track in the future. Okay, but you go hang around. I will tell you, we've done this trip a few times. This one is it's a fan favorite, and it's been a minute since we brought it back around, so it's coming back around. Okay. All right, I got one more domestic one. What do you think it is? Japan's not domestic. Even I know that. Come on. Nobody's saying it. All right. No, it is Pacific Northwest. But technically, it's a little bit of international because Canada, okay? I entertain myself up here. Okay, you are headed to the Northwest, okay? You get to see the iconic places in Seattle, and then you head up to Vancouver. You'll hit the Space Needle, Stanley Park, Vancouver Aquarium, and more. All this good stuff. Whale watching. Does it say whale watching? Oh, it is. Hey, Timmer said in this one it is whale watching, okay? This one is orange because it's a little more like adventure, like you're doing these activities, okay? Yes, you're learning about it, but it's not really a cultural immersion. It's more just a chance to go and see these different places. How many of you have been to Seattle? How many of you have lived in Seattle? Hey, my people. Oh, cool. Let's talk later. All right, that's fun. So there's that. All right. Those are your domestic options. Now, before I go to international, okay, one thing that you guys should know is that our trips, as of right now, we are capping every trip at 16, okay? So we had a couple larger trips this year, but in talking through with our trip leaders and even some of you guys, we want to try and keep it no more than 16, okay? So in the past, we've been able to say for some trips, hey, there's no cap. Anyways. We've been able to say that. And then we can load it up. But what we are intentionally doing is saying like, hey, we want to make sure that all of these trips can go and we believe in it. And so therefore we are capping these. Okay, so please know that. All right. Again, I don't remember what order I put these in, so this is gonna be fun. So drum roll, please, for your first ones. House build in Mexico. Okay. Oh my gosh, guys, I didn't update the description. It's not mangroves and Everglades. Okay, don't read there. Don't read there. So, look at the pictures. Don't read the description because I got distracted. All right, this trip, you are This trip will either be 4 nights and 5 days. There is a potential for it to be 3 nights and 4 days, okay? Here's what you should know about this and what you should know about Discovery Week in general. We try and offer a lot of variety of price points, okay? This one is our lower international price point, but it comes with the expectation that you will fundraise for the materials to build the house. So the partnerships we have, they tell us, hey, it costs $11,000 or $15,000 to build this house. Your group is in charge of fundraising that, okay? So in general, with our trips, we say that unless it's really a service, and even some of them, we've not made a big deal about promoting fundraising because we've kind of been told like we need to slow that down. But for this trip especially, this is gonna be one where we say, yes, please go fundraise, please do this, okay? But you will build a house in that short amount of time, okay? You're not gonna be in Florida. All right. Next up, we have, oh, I remember what this one is. Next up, let's go. All right. I'm good. I'll just cruise on out now. Okay. First off, don't worry. I did fall into the river, just in case you were wondering, okay? This is a 7-day, 6-night trip to check out Florence and Rome, okay? You will hit up the Italian countryside, the Duomo, the Piazza Michelangelo, the Bell Tower, then you'll head to the Colosseum, Spanish Steps, and Vatican City, okay? So we are offering Italy next year. Oh, nobody saw that coming. All right, next up. Timmer just ruins my fun by telling people Uganda is the next one. Ah. All right. Shh. Let me get through a couple details, guys, okay? This is 11 days, 10 nights, okay? We have, one of the companies we work with has their partnership with Action in Africa, okay? So there's a lot of community outreach and support for their different education stuff. Along with that, though, while you're over there, you will do a 2-day African safari that features floating on the Nile River, hiking, and hanging out with maybe like elephants, giraffes, and hippos, okay? This is gonna be the equivalent of our Japan trip in duration. It will bring you back in the middle of spring break, okay? So be aware of that. And again, here's something I want you to know and understand, okay? I will fully admit that last year, when we made our switch to spring break, I had been so used to telling people, hey, you can utilize either weekend that I give you of this week. Feel free to tap into that. And so they would and scheduled around us, and I didn't really think twice. And then we ran into hiccups with theater. We ran into hiccups with sports. And so this time I learned, and I was like, hey, we cannot have any trip leaving on Saturday or before. Okay, so we are protecting that weekend, just so you know. I will fully own that, my bad, but hey, we learn and we grow, right? Yeah, okay, cool, never mind, that's fine. So this one we have flagged more as the service trip for this, okay? Now, here's what this looks like if you like things linear, okay? my highlighting colors kind of show roughly what we would say the trips are, okay? But California, Florida, Pacific Northwest, Mexico, Italy, and Uganda, okay? Now, so you know where we're at right now with our committee and looking ahead. This feels really overwhelming, so just let me break this down. This past year, Moab was your adventure trip. Washington, D.C. was your educational trip, okay? Costa Rica was adventure, DR was service, and Japan was, we said, more educational. Shh. With this, what we have said is that pretty much we expect that at some point in your 4 years, you will probably do an independent study during Discovery Week. That will be more future focused, whether that's visiting colleges, doing a job shadow, okay? Some of you, maybe it's not technically in that career future lane. Maybe you already did one that was your own adventure or service, okay? That we will navigate through. But when you're looking at this, okay, you can see that 2027, here's where we're headed. 2028, as of right now, we're planning to bring back New York, planning to go Guatemala, looking at either Switzerland or Iceland, and then probably one more domestic and international, okay? 2029, right? This is all like kind of the stuff we're coming back around to, okay? But just so you have an idea here, all right? Now, time frame, okay? Last year we did the same kind of thing. I got to roll it out now, so you got to start thinking and having conversations. Then we come back to school and I do the whole same spiel over again, but also maybe talk a little bit more about what some on-campus stuff would be, yada, yada. You apply. You answer questions, okay? Not your parents, you apply. And then we quickly try and turn it around by September 1 so you find out if your application was accepted for the trip or not. And then you have till September 15 to get your deposits in, okay? Those deposits are non-refundable, all right? So if you were in your head thinking through next March, I want to go somewhere, you need to have the thought of if I'm heading to Italy, I need to be ready to pay $1,000 mid-September, okay? Then we have payments due in November, January, and then in February is that mandatory meeting, okay? Now, this is not accurate for next week, Friday, but I was simply showing you that this is what you will hear again in the fall, is that you'll get the application sent to you, you'll fill it out, we will review it, and then you're notified if you're approved and given payment links, and then we're finalizing your registration, okay? Now, I had a little fun with this because I like to keep saying this, okay? Job much? Here's what I've noticed. Shh. A lot of times when I talk about Discovery Week, I hear the phrase, my parents won't let me, or my parents said I pick one trip, or something along those lines. What if maybe you didn't assume that it was simply your parents paying for you to go? What if instead you had the conversation of, hey, what could I do to earn money for a Discovery Week trip this summer? Maybe you have the conversation, if I contributed half, could you match that? Because some of you leave your Discovery Week trip options up to your parents' bank account. And frankly, you are old enough that you can start figuring out ways to earn money to maybe take on the things you want to do. And I would like to encourage you to consider what it could look like if you were like, how could I figure out paying part of my own way? Okay? Yeah, Timmer, I know you have a watch, it's fine, okay? So, that is my take. You will, in this week's newsletter, I will have these things all in there. We will also have the recording of this if you're trying to remember what I said or how I phrased it, okay? But that is what we're looking ahead for next year, all right? Now, if you have questions about Discovery Week, great, that's cool, come find me, okay? In the meantime, we are gonna switch to doing yearbooks. Now, hang on, before you go, okay? Mrs. Masselink and some students have worked very hard on this year's yearbook. You are gonna go to your homeroom, you are gonna get them, you are gonna see them, you are gonna be so excited. And then, you're still in our building, but you will be able to go around and sign each other's yearbooks, things like that. Couple of things. First, you may not disrupt middle school classes. You should not be in their hallways, okay? Secondly, you need to remember that the people who worked really hard on the yearbook are human, and they busted their butts to get something that they were proud of and that you guys could be too. So with that being said, I have done yearbook before. Other people have in this room done yearbook before. There's always different little things that maybe you miss. So what I ask is that this isn't a time to be nitpicky and critical, and instead it's a time to be celebratory of like, oh, this was so cool. I forgot that happened. Oh, that picture made it in, right? And less about like, ooh, this or that. Oh, I like my chin. I don't know, okay? So on that note, you may stand up and you may head to your homerooms for your yearbook.